In studio with me, Evan Kenney. This is the first time we've been in the same room doing media content, it feels like. So this is exciting stuff going forward with our weekly look at sports. As September usually is, it's a very busy weekend, and it should be a very busy weekend going forward here until Christmas, basically. And it wasn't the greatest start, a theme that we've heard before, seen before, with the Lloydminster Bobcats losing 7-5 in their season opener, which was a good showing for them against a good Crusaders team, but losing 6-0 at home. And as you were saying to me off camera, the best way to describe it is things escalated quickly.
Yeah, for sure. The shots weren't in their favor for the first two periods, but they still were in the game. They had a couple of really good scoring chances until White on the Crusaders got that breakaway goal. It really just crushed all the momentum that the Bobcats had, and from there on, penalty trouble, a little bit of just undisciplined play led to that 6-0 loss.
Well, and I guess that is reflective to an extent of what they are as a team. It's a very young team, almost new roster from the previous era of Bobcats hockey. Nigel Dubé has remade it with guys he wants on the team, and unfortunately, they showed their inexperience.
For sure, a lot of new players, only keeping, I believe, 4 players from last year's roster. They do have quite a bit of AJHL experience, though. A couple of pickups from Fort McMurray Oil Barons. They showed up quite well, and physically they were, I want to say, dominant.
Okay. Now, what do you think they have to do to transfer that going into Wednesday's game, which will be kind of an important home game after this showing?
For sure, and it's against the Spruce Grove Saints, which is always a tough one, former North champions. So they really just need to play as a team and focus on their fundamentals. Working as a team can get it out of their zone easier, prevent those 6 goals again.
And it was a very different story in the world of football. Obviously, you have 2 powerhouse programs in Lloydminster. The Barons quickly got over their disappointment with their loss to the Holy Rosary Raiders, winning by nearly 60 against Wainwright. And then, of course, Holy Rosary doing similar damage with Westlock. So both teams back to doing what they do best.
Yeah, they both have some great players on each of the rosters. Shutting out Westlock, that's huge for the Raiders. And staying undefeated, that is, you're going to have to look at them heading down the road. They'll probably have to face the Barons sometime in playoffs. So that'll be a good test for that Holy Rosary team.
And obviously for the Barons, almost getting shut out essentially against the Raiders, it kind of gives their offense a bit of confidence back, knowing you knew, of course, they were going to get offense going again with the quarterback they have in Anton Amundrud, but they needed a bit of a boost immediately after that loss.
For sure, and you could tell Amundrud, he had that chip on his shoulder after the Holy Rosary game, so it's good to see him come back strong.
Yeah. Now, of course, next week they do have some tougher games, though. Bonnyville and St. Paul, who played a close one last week, Bonnyville winning 28-21. They should give a bit of a challenge to both teams as they did last year.
For sure, and they're going to really need to grind it out. I noticed both teams, they got their running game going, and so they'll want to continue that and just wear down the opposing teams.
And we'll see if they can do that again, indeed. So that's this Friday night. Both teams on the road. So the Raiders and the Barons out in Bonnyville and in St. Paul. So that should be a pair of good, tough games. And not as tough as the playoffs, of course, which are only a month's time away.